Hey guys, welcome to part 18 of Let's Play Pokemon SoulSilver. In the last part we checked out the Safari Zone, we saw all the weird and wonderful Pokemon that were there. We called ourselves one of those Pokemon, Mr. Mime, and yeah, now we're in Mahogany Town, and that sign there, one thing I've noticed about this game when playing through it again, because when I'm playing on a handheld it's like any dialogue, because I've played the original I kinda know it, or you know, I know what to do, so it's just skip, skip, skip. But one thing I've noticed is that the dialogue is actually pretty funny in this game. Like, it was funny when the fighting gym leader, you know, when talking to him. That sign's pretty funny. I don't know, it kind of reminds me, I know this game was made by Game Freak, but it kind of reminds me of the sense of humour that the Paper Mario games kind of have, you know. I mean, the Paper Mario games like go out of their way to have jokes and humour and have like characters be funny or amusing, but you know they also kind of have the subtle jokes, you know. And this game kind of has a few subtle jokes which are, you know, not laugh out loud hilarious, but pretty funny. Like, because that sign, it says nothing suspicious here, just a souvenir shop, and then you go in and talk to the people, and they're like, "Oh, I don't know what you're talking about. Evil deeds. That's not us." I don't know, I thought it was pretty funny, you know, I thought it was quite funny. So yes, we can't do anything in Mahogany Town as of yet because some fat bloke is blocking the gym. I talked about how this game had good structure and good design and didn't do that, but I don't know, I let it off because we're not supposed to be going straight to the gym yet anyway. There is a big event that we're kind of heading to. So you just head north, it's the only way you can head. I believe somebody's blocking the way to the next town. I want to say something like that. So you just head north and you head along this route. And once again, because you could technically come to this route early, they're all pretty low level. But saying that, I always have a hard time with this route because here's the thing: the trainers aren't too bad, but they're tougher than I always give them credit for. And I'm usually training up a Pokemon. And also because of this section, if you go in that building on the right to head upwards, it's not just a building, it is a through building. There's two doors. There's a Team Rocket guy in there that charges you a load of money to walk through. So you either have to go through this bit of grass here to get through the route, or you have to go through that building and not go through the grass. Now, of course, I don't really want to pay out the money. I mean, I know it's Pokemon and you get a stupid amount of money throughout the game for no real reason, so I could have just paid the money, but I usually don't. So what I normally do, but I don't actually do in this part, or in this playthrough, is that if you're fighting the trainers and find that your Pokemon are super weak, then you can just fly back to Mahogany Town, heal your Pokemon. You will have to walk back up, but I mean, at least you don't have to walk down again. Or you could just use repels, I don't know, there's just enough, it's just annoying enough walking back to the Pokemon Center and back. Like, it's just too irritating or too much of a hassle for me to go heal my Pokemon, so I just don't, you know. Because usually all you have to do is just walk back and it's fine, but this one, it's just annoying enough. I don't know. Because the problem was that I'm training up Mr. Sublime. Like, he's only level 18 at the moment, he needs to get a lot of levels. So obviously fighting these Pokemon would be ideal because they're all quite low level, they're not that much higher than him. But there's two problems. Like, one is the problem of going back to the Pokemon Center, and two, at the moment Mr. Sublime is terrible. His low level, like a lot of psychic Pokemon, his normal attack is horrendously bad, but the only attack he has is Double Slap. That's the only attack he has at the moment. And its Double Slap isn't that good as it is, not really. So he has like 20 attack stat, has about 50 special attack, and he doesn't have a special attack. Now, I do teach him one, and he does learn one later on, but at this point in time, I was just like, oh, well, this might have been a horrible, horrible mistake. That was kind of what I was thinking. So yeah, so Mr. Sublime is, I'm just doing the classic, send him out, send him back in, and he does catch up like surprisingly quickly, you know, because there are a ton of trainers here, and if I really wanted I could have just stayed in the grass and trained him up like that. I probably would have done that if I was playing through the actual version of the game and I wasn't LPing it, but of course you guys don't want to see me training up a Pokemon, and you know, I can train him up well enough by just fighting these trainers. And also Mr. Mime is the last Pokemon, or is the last member to my squad, so this is the last Pokemon I'm going to have to go through the boring training, switching out, and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, this is the last one, which is pretty funny. So this Slowbro, this was a weird battle because he instantly disabled my Thundershock, which is the only attack the Fluff has now, and I couldn't do anything to it. So what I did is that I kept using Charge to make sure when I do use Thundershock it's really powerful, like there, and I kept using Charge to increase the Fluff special defense because the only attack Slowbro seemed to be using was Water Gun. So yeah, that battle went on a lot longer than it probably should have done, but you know, I beat it. I took him down, you know, I showed him what was what, so. But I don't know if I've mentioned this yet. I probably have mentioned it, but when I played through Heart Gold, I picked Chikorita. I definitely mentioned that because I slagged off Chikorita a lot. And then for my water type Pokemon, I would have usually gone for a Magikarp to get a Gyarados or maybe Wooper. Wooper's actually a really good choice that you can catch in the Safari Zone and you can catch it really early on, so it's a good choice. But yeah, so I actually got a Slowpoke, and they're terrible. Like, even when I evolved into a Slowbro, because I'm going to be honest here, I didn't beat the Elite Four because it required so much training, and my squad was terrible. I had like such a bad squad on my Heart Gold save. You know, I had Chikorita, which was terrible. It was fully evolved, but it's terrible. I had Slowbro, that was terrible. I had a Growlithe, but I needed to train it up a lot more because I just caught it. Because you can actually, I think you can catch it outside the Safari Zone. That's where I caught mine. So if you're interested in that Pokemon, that's a good place to get one. So yeah, my squad was terrible in that game, so I didn't beat the Elite Four and pretty much Slowbro is terrible. Its stats aren't good enough for how slow it is, because its speed is embarrassingly low, but its stats aren't good enough. And even though it's Psychic type, it doesn't really get that many good Psychic moves unless you teach it to him. So yeah, all in all, don't get a Slowpoke. It's not worth it. Trust it. You know. Have faith in Unstorm 23, don't get one. But here's something interesting. See, this is the beginning of this whole big event, which is probably one of the biggest side events in a Pokemon game. I don't know, I guess the lakes being drained in the 4th gen was a pretty big side event, and there have been bigger ones, but you know, this was bigger, or you do this for a lot longer, and it's a separate storyline. This is longer than anything in the 1st generation, that's for sure anyway. And it starts off with this shiny Gyarados. Now, I'm not afraid to admit this. When I was playing through Pokemon SoulSilver, I had no idea what a shiny was. No, through Pokemon Silver, the originals. I had no idea there was such thing as shiny Pokemon, and that they were incredibly rare, because I never saw one playing through the originals. Or if I did, I didn't notice. Because the 1st generation is the one that I played the most, but shiny Pokemon got introduced in the 2nd gen, I believe. So yeah, so this was actually a cool way of them introducing the fact that, oh, by the way, they're shiny Pokemon, they're different colours, they're pretty cool, keep an eye out, you know. And also one thing I recommend, get this Gyarados. Like, if this is the first time you're playing through this game, I'm assuming it might not be if you're watching this video, but if it is, just catch this Gyarados. It's a really good Pokemon. It's already level 30, so you don't even have to train it up. It can be a bit of a pain to catch. In fact, this takes me forever to kill this Gyarados, and the reason is because I actually want to catch it just to see if I can. So one thing you want to do, go get a load of Great Balls, or maybe you can get Ultra Balls already, I'm not sure. And just try and catch this thing, because even if you have a water type already, this is water flying type, and it can learn a load of dragon moves, and it can just learn a load of really good moves. And there's a reason why, when I played through Pokemon Pearl, I got a Gyarados. They're really good. They have really high attack and all that. Although my Gyarados, or Fish Demon, didn't really do too great in the Elite Four, but that's not the point. The point is that, yeah, if this is your first time, catch it. If not, then you can probably do without it. But it's a nice little boost to your team. Like, if this is your first time playing through, you're either going to have like 6 really horrible Pokemon, or you're only going to have like 3 because you don't know what Pokemon are good. So it's kind of nice that they throw in this level 30 Gyarados and, you know, you can catch it. And I like how they have these rare Pokemon that there's only like one of. Like, that they continued it in this game. Because we already saw Sudowoodo that you could take on and catch. Because I thought that was really cool, like in the first gen with the Snorlaxes. I mean, I never actually used one on my squad, I don't think. I know it was a popular choice because of how defensive it was and how much health it had, but I never used one. But I definitely, the first time playing this game, I thought, wow, that's a red Gyarados. I gotta have that. I gotta have that stuff. I gotta have that Pokemon. Put it in my squad, it's gonna be cool. It's gonna be a good time. But yeah, see, this Gyarados just goes through all my Pokemon. It just kills them all. Like, slaughters them. I think I get down to my last Pokemon, because look at this. Because I hadn't been to the Pokemon Center, obviously Mr. Sublime isn't going to be that good. Hawkins is the one I was training up second and only had 1 attack, or 1 HP. York was obviously not going to do anything because it was a fire type. So there was a moment when I was fighting this thing that I was worried about it. Because I believe, I can't remember, but you can run away, but I don't think that helps. You either have to like kill this thing. I was going to say make faint, but you know, you do have to kill this thing. Because the whole point is that this Gyarados is apparently angry. I mean, who knew? It's in the Lake of Rage, and apparently there's some rage going on. I don't know how. I don't know why anyone's surprised, really. So yeah, so you're the one who's going to have to go out there and kill it or make it faint, or you can catch it. So I think you have to do either or. And really, this thing is pretty easy to take down. It's not that tough. It's level 30, which is, you know, none of your Pokemon will probably be the same level. They might be, but they probably won't be. So it's, you know, it's kind of a tough Pokemon, but it's not a gym leader Pokemon. It doesn't have any potions. It doesn't have a berry or anything like that. It's super easy to take out. But you're going to struggle, like, taking it out if you're going to try and catch the thing. But luckily for me, I had E-Rock as my last Pokemon. Well, Mr. Sublime, I think, is still alive. That was kind of my backup. And then I remembered that this is also Flying type because it's not actually Dragon type. So yeah, I just hit it with a Rock Blast that, you know, takes it down. And that's the way I do it. I mean, I was pretty dumb to use Magnitude, so yeah, I didn't catch it. Kind of disappointing, but I wouldn't have used it on my squad anyway. So, you know, all in all, it was yeah, that battle took forever, or definitely a lot longer than it should have done. Kind of embarrassing. Oh way, red scale, nice. But yeah, this whole kind of setup is pretty cool. But hold on, what's this? Is that some sort of trainer who's a dragon? Ah, yes, it's Lance. This whole part of the game is just really cool, and I really like it. Like, it starts off with you fighting a red shiny Gyarados that is like mind-blowing if this is like your first Pokemon game. Well, probably not, because you've probably never seen a Gyarados before. But if you actually played the originals, it was. And then you just come out, it's like, oh, it's Lance. You know, that one guy who's like one of the most powerful trainers of all time? You know that dude? Yeah, it's just a really cool idea that they brought him back. And the fact that in this game, they have the whole Pokemon following you. So you can actually have Lance, you know, Lance has his Dragonite following you. And me, I have my ridiculous Mr. Sublime, or Mr. Mime following me. Oh yeah, sorry about that small thing, I don't know what happened there. But yeah, so this whole thing is really cool and is going into something even cooler. I don't know. Why does that Hyper Beam not come out of him? They could have animated it. It's just weird that it just hits him. Well, anyway, with that, we're going to end the part. So next time in Let's Play Pokemon SoulSilver, we are going to go exploring some misdeeds, or go stopping some misdeeds with Lance, the Dragon Trainer. So I've been Tom23. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you next time.